Hey, Mr. Smock here. Hello, kindergartners. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you're staying safe. Hope you're having some fun with your families. All I'm going to do now is talk to you about what you're going to be doing this week with your Quaver lessons. This week's focus is a term called meter, which is not something I usually talk about in kindergarten. I usually introduce that in first grade. But you guys do know that music comes in beats of two and three and four. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how these lessons relate to music that has beats of two and three and four. And so for Tuesday's lesson, this is the first slide that you'll see. And when you want to get to the next screen, you're going to come over here where you see my mouse is at. You're going to click over there, and you'll see these are different pictures that you got to try to find what is it that there's two of in each picture. On the next slide, this is the song Stinky Pirates, which is a pretty fun song. You can learn how to sing it if you'd like, but also while you're listening to it, you can march around in near your computer, which is the way to show with your body that something has two beats in it per measure. So when you're walking around and marching around, you can march around to this song because this is a song that has two beats per measure, or in other words, a meter of two. Here's some more music that you could listen to that you can practice doing your marching around with. And here's another one that is done by a man named John Philip Sousa, and you can march around with this one as well. Now, for your exit ticket, one thing I need you to do is that when you press start, did you review this lesson? You're going to say yes, and then it's going to ask you to submit. And so you got to make sure that you submit when you do that. I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. For your next lesson on Wednesday, now you're going to have something in common. One, two, three. You're going to have things that have threes in them. Going to the next slide and the next slide. And then here is a story called The Waltzing Wallaby. I'll even read it to you right now. Wally the Wallaby was hungry. One day he hopped down a path where he lived in the outback of Australia looking for food. He found a small house with an open back door and crept in. While he was sniffing around the kitchen, he heard beautiful music in a pattern of three. He sneaked a peek into the next room and was amazed to see old Mr. Crumbly and his wife waltzing. Yes, waltzing around the living room. Wally's foot began tapping to the waltzing pattern of three. My goodness, he forgot all about being hungry and started waltzing around the kitchen. In fact, Wally was so excited about waltzing, he didn't notice Mr. and Mrs. Crumbly watching him. Oh dear, Wally saw them and stopped. Music stopped. Everything stopped for a split second. But Wally the Waltzing Wallaby was so exhilarated by his new dance that he wasn't scared. In fact, it was quite the opposite. Wally motioned for Mr. and Mrs. Crumbly to join in. Mr. and Mrs. Crumbly looked at each other, smiled, shrugged, and asked, "Why not?" They waltzed and danced and had the best time. Wally the Waltzing Wallaby and Mr. and Mrs. Crumbly lived happily ever after, waltzing every night until the sun went down. And by the way, Wally was never hungry again. The end. And now there's a song called Waltzing Like Wallabies that you can play. And when you're waltzing, you can take three steps. So you can go one, two, three, one, two, three, one, two, three. Or another thing you can do when you're listening to something that has beats of three in it is you can sway back and forth. One, two, three, one, two, three, one, two, three, one, two, three. And this is some more music that you would hear from a ballet called Swan Lake, where you can also, if you want, waltz around your room or waltz around the house while listening to it. Now, this is a book about ballet that maybe you and your parents could read over that talks about ballet and different people who were famous in ballet. And when you're done, you could even answer some different questions about famous ballet dancers and about people who created a new kind of ballet. and which piece was written by a man named Tchaikovsky. And then when you're done, you might be able to unlock this certificate if you get it all right. And then this is another waltzing song called Waltzing Matilda that you can listen to, and you can also do some more waltzing or swaying in your house. Now that's it for Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll be back again to show you what you're doing for Thursday and some suggestions of what you can do on Friday. Okay? I hope you have a good day, and I hope to see you guys again sometime soon. Goodbye.